Some of the proclamations that were made includes investigation to state capture and COVID-19 personnel protective equipment. The SIU is only mandated to make recommendations after the completion of its probe. This includes referrals for both civil and criminal litigations. The Presidency told SCOPA that it is currently embarking on what it calls a tracking system approach as part of implementing the necessary recommendations.
As part of this oversight role, we have developed a tracking system working very closely with the SIU and other actors in the accountability value chain. So we look at 4 categories of recommendations that are made by the SIU, and each of these categories of recommendations has its own business processes and value chain.
The Presidency stated that their presentation omitted to provide a broader, comprehensive explanation in some of the issues that fall within its scope.
First of all, on the broad theme of the systemic nature of corruption. Of course, our report to SCOPA today is of a fairly narrow focus in regard to SIU proclamations, but then we have the State Capture Commission recommendations. Those recommendations in and of themselves did a lot of that analysis, so that report goes to the systemic challenges that both yourself and other members have made reference to. In order for the Presidency to coordinate this across whole of government and whole of society, we have had to set up our structures.
Again, there was an admission in terms of poor systems in relation to vetting of senior officials when entering the public sector. This includes challenges in the application of the necessary consequence management.
Lifestyle audits is part of Hopper's job. It came up in the questions. Vetting, and by the way, Chairperson, vetting does happen. We don't deny that there's a backlog in vetting. Again, it's a resourcing, it's a vacancy, it's a backlog issue that we need to catch up. But senior officials are vetted. Is every single senior official in the job vetted in time before they are given access? Admittedly not. And we're aware of that, and we're busy addressing that.
But this explanation was not convincing to the members of the committee across the political spectrum.
I am not getting a sense that the Presidency actually is looking at this in a systematic way in order to make systemic improvements. And maybe let me use the term systemic rather than systematic. Not looking at this in a systemic way.
You know, in what the chair has raised in terms of the systematic issues, because it's not enough that the SIU will go and investigate a matter and come back with their reports and say, this is what we found, and this is what we recommend. And then, well, that person is taken to jail or their accountability measure. But the flaw in the system remains.
What I believe we're dealing with is institutionalized corruption in this country. And hence it's at a scale that it is at. So I would wish to get a full picture when I meet with the Presidency, flowing from what my colleague was saying.
The SIU says its recommendations has the elements of systemic endorsement in its nature and in content.
The systemic recommendations, how we're dealing with them at the moment, is that in our business value chain, there is a section in SIU that deals with follow-up. And we created that a while back, knowing that our work would not be complete, so that our investigations really do not achieve the impact.
But Deputy Minister in the Presidency considered that there must be a way in which the issue of the systemic corruption should be corrected, including the meting out of the consequence management, where transgression reared their ugly heads in government.
Maybe we must say that we will definitely in future compartmentalize the systematic issues that you've raised. And I have been advised that Advocate Mutibu will go at length to illustrate how they would use their own reports to follow through on systematic issues, especially with government departments and municipalities, going directly